We talked about the calligraphy brush and done a couple of art brushes. The next type of brush that we're going to look at is under New Brush. Again, you can start this way. Is not available unless you select something first. You can see here, scatter brush is not a brush you can just make without having something selected. So I'm going to click cancel, and I'm going to take this leaf symbol and drag it out onto the stage because I don't want to draw something fresh from scratch. Do you have to use a symbol when you make a scatter brush? No. You can use anything you draw. I could just be making a circle now, or even a letter character. But I have to have something selected. Now, with that object selected and on the screen, and I choose New Brush, you can see I can choose the scatter brush choice. There it is, scatter brush. Then when I click OK, you'll notice that the scatter brush object is showing up in the window at the lower right, and I can name my scatter brush Leaves Scattered and do some different things, such as change the values of the size, spacing, the scatter, and the rotation. When you're learning to do this, it's probably a good idea to only change one value at a time. So just to see what it looks like, I'm not going to change any values. Taking the brush, you can also do this with the pen tool. Oops, let me delete that object. I applied the brush to that object, but I don't really want to. And there's the brush, and there's the object. And so here is my leaves, boringly scattered on my scatter brush. So here's how I suggest you experiment with the scatter brush. Let's get rid of some of this extra stuff here. And move my scattered object, my scatter brushed object, away from other objects. And then if you're looking, where you want to alter this is not in the symbols window, it's over here in the Leaves Scatter Brush. So I'm going to double click to open up the menu for scatter brush options and just change one thing, which is going to be here. I will not have them fixed. I'll have them random, and the randomization will be on the small size of about 50 and the large size a little bigger than 100. And I don't mean that much bigger. If I click preview, I can see what that does. If I was to click OK, I would get this apply to strokes panel again. But for you to learn this on your own, you'll double click, and then you can start changing these settings one at a time. Here's spacing, and I'll change the spacing to make all the spacing closer instead of 100%. Let's see what it does on 20. Click on and off of preview. Here I can change this to 20 and random 120. And you can turn the preview on and off. Then you can go to scatter, turn it to random, and change your values here from 0 to, oh, there's 114, 9. You'll want to play with that. And lastly, rotation, from fixed to random, from maybe -37 to 30, or what have you. And that is how you design a scatter brush, by randomizing and changing the values between the sizes, spacing, scattering. Scattering means how far away from the line that you originally drew it is, scattered off of the line or closer to the line. And then your rotations. Size, and there's my scatter brush. You can always come back in and edit it again. And if you click on it, click a different brush and click on it again, you'll see that it will change how it's scattering the objects. So click, make any changes, click OK, and click Apply. There is your scatter brush.